Much sport from midnight 10. First naughty words on your comedic interrogation station.
Top Cat, the most effectual Top Cat, whose intellectual close friends get to call him TC, providing it's with dignity. Top Cat, the indisputable leader of the gang. He's the boss, he's a bit, he's a championship, he's the most tip-top Top Cat. Yes, he's the chief, he's a king, bottom of everything. He's the most tip-top Top Cat.
Evening! Hello, lovely. Yes, sir! That's me. The indisputable leader of the gang. I'm a jock, I'm a git, I'm a bit of a shit. The most tip-top Top Jack. Hello, welcome to the Whitehall Theatre, London. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I finally cancelled my subscription to the NME. Just look at, do you know what's in the NME this week? It's just preposterous that in the NME, album recommendation of the week is 8,000 Leaves by Sonic Youth. Sonic Youth, my arse. If you buy one CD this year, okay, make sure it's this one. Tunes from the Tunes, the best of Hanna-Barbera. Brilliant. Top Cat, Huckleberry Hound, Secret Squirrel, they're all on here. And in honour of this fine CD, tonight my charming guest and I will be celebrating the majesty of this indispensable collection. In a moment, the wonderfully talented Maureen Lipman will be taking the stage to the theme from the Hair Bear Bunch. I think Maureen's got what this is. Also, coming through that very door in just a few moments to the theme from Stop the Pigeon, I think, will be former top doc from Casualty, Clive Mantle. Come on over there. And then, of course, there's music from the marvellous Dust Junkys this evening. There they all are. Now, listen, I'm big enough to admit that this evening we had planned to have Chelsea captain Dennis Wise on the show. It's mentioned in the press, that's why I mentioned it. But just 1 hour before we went on air, and this is quite true, Dennis called in to say he'd been sent home from training with a virus. Poor little Dennis. Poor little Dennis. We know the real reason, Wisey. You couldn't get a cab to stop for you, could you, eh? They still don't stop. But as we had, you see, we'd written the whole of tonight's show around Dennis Wise, with lots of hilarious football-related items and half of the Chelsea Supporters Club in the audience. We thought we were to coin and showbiz saying, fucked. But no, I'm not prepared to spoil what promises to be a great show just because some footballer's got a runny nose. So we called Soccer Star You Like and ordered a Dennis Wise replacement. And in a moment, I want you all to give a huge Whitehall welcome for the man who has courageously agreed to be Dennis Wise for us this evening. But first, as you know, the Whitehall Theatre is slap in the heart of Britain's famous London, where the streets are paved with square pieces of stone. So, as usual, plenty of celebrities have popped in to see the show this evening. Can we train the camera on the audience? Who has come this evening? Let's have a look at some celebrities. Who have we got? Cleo Lane, everyone. There's Cleo. Thank you very much for coming, Cleo. That's her. Who else is in tonight? Stan Collymore. There he is. Big Stan. Go on. Stan Collymore. Sitting on his arse doing nothing. That's a surprise for Stan, but there you go. Who else is in the audience tonight? Tina Turner, everyone. It's Tina. Cleo Lane and Tina Turner. Anybody else? Tracy Ullman. Tracy Ullman. It's Tracy Ullman. Wow, look at that smile. Anybody else? Rula Lenska. Let's hear it for all of tonight's marvellous celebrity guests, particularly Tina, Rula, and the other one she was. She's everybody. Thank you very much for coming. Okay. Today is, of course, the 5th of May. Just before we meet my first guest this evening, I've just got time to run through some of the highlights of the next few days. After the success of Take Your Child to Work Day and Take Your Pet to Work Day, the organisers have declared that today is Take Your Legs to Work Day. Okay, tomorrow is Take Your Work to Bed Day. Thursday is Take Your Bed to Work Day. Well, Friday is, of course, take some time to have a good long look in the mirror and see what a sad and sorry fuck you've become day. Also, as I'm sure you already know, this week being the first week of May is National Arse Week. I hope you've been following that. There it is. It's about time we had a National Arse Week in this country, a day when people up and down the country gather in their tens of tens, I would say, to celebrate the glory and majesty that is the human arse. There it is, okay? And this is not just an excuse to say the word arse a lot. But let's be serious for a moment. Right, that's enough. Here's a picture of an arse. No, but really, seriously, today is also the day that scholars, I don't know whether you know this, they've pinpointed that today is the date that T.S. Eliot finally finished his most enduring work, The Waste Land, a lyrical yet jaded commentary on the sterility of life in the years after the First World War, in which Eliot's Christianity and his often bewilderingly eclectic frame of reference combine in a dizzying piece of poetic theatre. Here's a picture of Eliot having finally completed The Waste Land. And here's a picture of his arse. Right, as I mentioned a moment ago, my first guest this evening was going to be Chelsea captain Dennis Wise. But Dennis called just before we went on air, saying he was in bed with a virus. Yes, poor little Diddums is all tucked up. I also have the same virus, but I've turned up! Sorry, I've managed to get the next best thing. Standing in for Dennis tonight, please welcome the man who is Dennis Wise, former Casualty star Clive Mantle.
So, stop the pigeon, 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 stop the pigeon!
Oh. Do that impression again.
What?
Well, that's the one with the cut.
Yes!
And then, oh, what?
What?
Is that all he does?
That's how he signs off every week in the programme, just with...
What?
He's forgotten all right at the back. I think it's the cross between Michael Barrymore and Dennis Wise.
Would you like to be Dennis Wise? Clive, if you were to be any Chelsea player, you're going to be Dennis tonight, but given a choice...
I am Dennis Wise.
So you are Dennis.
I am
Dennis.
If I could have been any Chelsea player, it would have been Peter Bonetti, the great, legendary Peter Bonetti, the cat.
The cat, yeah? Despite him arsing up that famous England...
Listen, I've had more fights in school playgrounds defending Peter Bonetti's good name.
It's true, he was a fine.
He was a fine goalkeeper.
And he started all the being Italian, the Italian name.
That's it.
Which is now being carried on.
Absolutely.
OK, listen, Dennis's questions. We've got them here.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Why are all little fellas so mental? Like you, Nicky Butt, David Batty, Barney Rubble, the whole gang. Why? Napoleon, Hitler, Dennis Wise.
There's nothing wrong with being a little footballer, because there's no more satisfying feeling than getting steamed into a big one, you know what I mean? You get the studs down the back of Gary Pallister's leg, or you knock Tony Adams off the ball, and you just look at them on the ground. That's the greatest feeling in the world, that is.
OK, who's the hardest? Who's the hardest footballer at Chelsea, Dennis?
The hardest, well, it's a bit before my time. It had to be Chopper, Ron Harris, because he'd be up all night drinking the night before a game. He'd sort of walk to work eating raw meat. He'd get in the dressing room and he'd take his socks off. He'd hammer cork studs into the bottom of his feet.
Oh,
he never wore boots.
That era, he was that hard.
He was that hard. And if the game was a bit dull, like if you're playing Manchester United or Arsenal and the play wasn't coming down your end, he'd sometimes even go over and sigh with Eddie McCready just for practice, you know. Or go and have a swing a punch at Peter Bonetti in goal just to keep on his toes, you know.
Yeah, foreign players, Dennis. You're a very English kind of little bulldog type. Sure, you don't like all these greasy foreigners coming into your club.
Oh no, they're top. They're top. Yeah? I tell you, no, they've done wonders for us at the Bridge, because we now eat all sorts of different food than we ever used to, and it's broadened our sort of nicknames for everybody.
Well, that's the thing, nicknames, because it's normally just Wisey and
Hughesy and Clarky.
But with how do you
well, they're easy to remember, those three.
Yeah, Di Matteo. Because all the time, Vialli.
Well, Frank LeBeuf was interesting because we started calling him Spongy Four Men Copalofia because of the old LeBeuf. But of course, by the time he'd drilled a 40-yard pass, inch perfect to your feet, you were still saying Encopalofia. But we could never get the hang of that. So then we called him Beefy, and now we've just resorted to BSE, you know.
BSE?
That's how he's ended up, yeah.
A good, very good nickname. I was going to say, what is the best nickname for any Chelsea player? But it's that one.
BSE,
You've
good.
answered that question.
Burge is good. Graham Lasso, because he's a Channel Island boy, so he was Bergerac. Shortens nicely to Burge, I think you'll agree, yeah.
Is there any truth in the rumours about Graham Lasso?
Well, what rumours are those?
Damn, I was hoping you might know some.
Well, I mean, it's difficult enough being Dennis Wise for the first 20 minutes of your show to reveal secrets I don't even know.
No, that would have been something.
I can make something up if you want. But...
Yeah, Dennis, make something up.
All right,
Would
well,
you, about,
he
is it
reads,
true about Graham
He
Lassell?
reads 14 broadsheet newspapers a day.
Soft lads.
He's very intelligent.
He's a girl. He's a nice.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to say. I didn't know how to do
You,
that.
Dennis, are the ultimate cheeky monkey. Kissing referees, grabbing people's bollocks, showing your arse out the team bus. What's the cheekiest monkey thing that you have ever done, Dennis?
The cheekiest monkey thing I've ever done was probably at Wembley in the Coca-Cola Cup final when... Because Gazza called me a cheeky monkey when he came on as a substitute and performed very poorly, as we said. And called me a cheeky monkey early on in his attempts to swing the game. And so he bundled my little mate Franco Zolo over, so I steamed in and gave him a bit of the old, waist-high tackle, which didn't go down too well with the ref. But then the cheekiest monkey thing I ever did was nutmeg him about 4 minutes later in front of 75,000 people and a worldwide television audience. So I slipped the ball through Paul Gascoigne's legs and he stood there like a lemon.
Taking the piss out of Gascoigne.
Absolutely.
Wonderful thing.
It should be a national pastime, really.
Can I just say at this moment, you were a lot better than Dennis would have been. Can I just... you haven't said, at the end of the day, you haven't said over the moon. You haven't said...
Sorry, Den, I'll get it in, mate.
What is it? Now, of course, Cup Winners' Cup final.
Absolutely.
Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah.
Against Stuttgart. You're fit for that, are you?
Yeah. I've got a bit of a toe injury. I've got a virus even as we speak, but I should be fit for Wednesday.
At least you came in, though, with your virus.
Absolutely. I'm spreading it to everybody out there in TV land. But, no, as long as my mates from the BBC drama mafia are there to support me, I don't mind.
I'm going to be there. Yeah, well, if you want to see the Cup Winners' Cup final, it's because Chelsea against VSP Stuttgart, then, unlike all the previous rounds, you don't see it on Channel 5 because the BBC have got the final, actually. Taking a chance there, they'll probably have Des Lynam and Alan Hansen and people like that, when they could have had a lot of pissed-up blokes in the sports bar and Bruff Scott, which I prefer. But just in case you're worried that Channel 5 haven't got the big guns up against it, then it's up against the Cup final. It's down to the final three. Channel 5 are either going to have the final of the Asian cat wrestling from Rangoon, the over-40s leaning sideways finals from Barnstable, and just in front at the moment is live panda blinding for Ulaanbaatar. It's cruel, but it's kind of amusing, okay? Which one would you vote for? You want to see, Dennis?
I'll keep
Which one are you taping while you're stuffing them in against
I'll keep
Stuttgart?
it English. Just go for the Barnstable option.
Keep it English, okay?
Yeah.
Clive, thank you very much for being Dennis Wise for us. For the moment. Clive Mantle, what are you actually doing?
Not a lot. I'm going to Stockholm next Tuesday morning for the Cup Winners' Cup final.
For the Cup Winners'
with all my pals from the BBC. We'll be out there cheering on as loudly as we possibly can. We don't know where we're staying yet, but it's all part of a package we've bought. So we'll be there cheering as Dennis lifts the cup.
It all kind of segues in there
Absolutely.
nicely. Clive, before you go, Dennis, I can't let you go. Have we got a football? I want to see some of Dennis's skills. Here's, yeah. Okay, here we go. Dennis, could you know that, not keep you up, but you know that one where you put it between your legs, you flick it up onto your knee, onto your head, and then, could you do that for us?
Oh, well, let's have a go.
Dennis Wise, everyone. Dennis Wise. That was sensational. Straight off the light.
Sorry about that.
And knocked Lizzie's headphones off. That was sensational. Keep that for the hat trick. Now, Clive, I'm sure you're aware Chelsea have been cashing in on their success this year. You at home, I'm sure, are aware, but they've been launching a whole new range of Chelsea-related products. You could look there, Clive's modelling one. Look at that, at Chelsea.
Absolutely.
Stockholm Cup Winners' Cup. They've already got that out in the market. Chelsea replica kits, packets of football cards with only Chelsea players in them, and all sorts of Chelsea-related products. Well, now we can also unveil a brand new set of portraits commemorating Chelsea's path to glory, entitled Chelsea, A Season to Remember. Each exquisite print is taken from a series of original paintings by the controversial West Country artist, Mr. Duncan Smallbone of Devizes. You may remember his portrait of the Queen we featured a couple of weeks ago. Let's take a look at the first of these enchanting prints. Here's the first one. It's a heart-rending image which truly evokes the emotion and turmoil of the season's most dramatic event at Stamford Bridge. It's entitled The Dismissal of Ruud Gullit. Yes, Rotulip there, getting his marching orders from controversial club chairman Ken Bates. What do you think, Clive? I think the artist really captured the moment there. Ken Bates in typically ebullient mood. Did you agree with the decision?
That's not a very nice drawing of my dad.
It's not, it's not. But then he's not a very nice bloke. Or is he?
Steady.
Batesy? I don't know.
Steady.
I don't know. Dan? Wouldn't say a word against him. OK. All right. Second in this charming series is entitled The Appointment of Chelsea's New Boss. There we are. An emotional Gianluca Vialli accepting his new role as player-coach. You'd think that was a photograph, wouldn't you, Clive? It's just absolutely... And then finally, there's this moving print which we've actually had framed. Clive, perhaps you'd like to ceremoniously unveil it here, if you'd like to take your position over there. This is to commemorate Dennis Wise's slight virus. If you just pull there, this is Dennis Wise. Let's have a look. There we are. There's poor Dennis in bed, as we know. And one of his friends has come to call on him. Coming to Scribes West Club, Dennis says. And Dennis says, of course. No, I'm ill. Yeah, ill. That's it. The poor wee mite. Delightful collection, that is. Now, Dennis / Clive will be staying with me for part 2 of tonight's show, when we'll be joined by everyone's favourite Jewish grandma, Maureen Lipman, and the excellent Dust Junkys will be singing live right here. See you all in a sec. Take it away, boys.
Top Cat.
Top Cat.
The most effectual Top Cat. Whose intellectual close friends get to call him TC, providing it's with dignity. Top Cat. Top Cat. The most effectual Top Cat. Whose intellectual close friends get to call him TC, providing...
Hi, welcome back. Thanks for watching. That's going to part 2. Welcome to part 2 of tonight's show. Chelsea captain Dennis Wise dropped out of tonight's show just before we went on air, so stepping in place of the tiny, tiny Chelsea footballer is huge, big, needlessly, pointlessly tall Clive Mantle. Can you tell the difference, ladies and gentlemen? Can you? It's the same, one and the same man. And that music, of course, was the unmistakable theme from Top Cat from my CD of the week. Tunes from the Tunes, the best of Hanna-Barbera. There we are. Absolutely marvellous. Everyone must buy this. My next guest this evening is one of Britain's most popular and gifted actors, although her talent for characterisation has led some people to confuse her with other performers. She's been in telephone commercials, a bit like Bob Hoskins, only funnier, and her skills as a raconteur have led many to compare her to Peter Ustinov, only funnier. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Maureen Lipman.
Here come the bears. Here come the bears.
Here come the bears.
Let's split. Help! It's the Hair Bear Bunch.
Dennis Wise, and of course, Clive Mantle, really. There, a little den. Now,
Evening all.
everybody is being somebody else tonight. Is there anybody, you know, Clive's being Den, anybody you would like to, you can in the show, come on, you don't have to be yourself.
Well,
So who do you want to be?
I'm being Gwyneth Paltrow.
You're being Gwyneth
Yep.
Paltrow?
Yeah, because, you know, like I'm always being taken for her, you know.
So Gwyneth Paltrow, have you met Dennis?
She's
Dennis.
at all our home games.
All
Yeah,
the home games.
And the ex-Prime Minister used to be at a lot of your games, Dennis, didn't she?
Yeah, we're very up with politicians.
What are you saying about...
I mean, John Major. Yeah.
And Norma used to come along. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're very up with politicians, but from both sides of the divide. We've got Tony Banks. He sorts them out.
Oh, yeah? Anyone else you want to
He
meet
doesn't
tonight?
sort anything out, Tony
Yes, he
Banks.
does.
He
He's
doesn't
lovely.
sort anything out. He
lovely.
talks a load of claptrap.
I do,
Well, he does.
don't just sit there arguing with Clive, but turn this into question time.
We
It's
should have
question time, ladies and gentlemen.
We should have a steward sitting between us because you're a Manchester United fan, aren't you?
Just a bit,
Just
yeah.
keep
but-
apart. You should be going.
What
should be
is
going
it with
away.
you guys?
Your audience
Yeah,
already.
what is it with you guys? You know,
What, you
everybody
can't say.
hates
Would anyone
United.
cheer Chelsea? I don't suppose so either.
Listen, I think this lot have had enough of football, right?
Yeah. Well,
You want to talk about showbiz
that's a
and
shame because I was hoping you'd be Glenn Hoddle, not Gwyneth Paltrow.
Glenn Waddle.
Glenn Waddle,
Yeah,
the
you saw the way I
hybrid.
came on.
Who's the best kisser out of all the referees you've ever snogged, Dennis?
David Ellery, because he does tongues. Tongues and everything, yeah.
The most
he's
amazing thing is, I didn't understand a word you two said when I was backstage. I thought, at least when I got on, you might talk some sense, but no.
Who's
It's
the
just going
best
to go on like
referee
this.
you've ever kissed?
I thought you were going
Maureen?
to say who's the best kisser I've
Well,
ever.
actually, yeah, who is the best kisser?
Well, I never get to kiss in screen. I'm always the best friend or the woman who doesn't get the man all my life.
I mean, why is that?
I don't
Because
know, it's funny,
even
isn't
when
it?
you were young, because I've been looking at your book upstairs and all these kind of glamorous
I know, I do try, don't I?
blonde thing. You and Jane Asher hanging out and all that. Were you kind of...
I don't know
60s
why.
babe.
It's funny. Recently I was on location in Wales. I was doing, believe it or not, a Welsh Yiddish film. And my whole part was in Yiddish. You queue up already, didn't you?
Damn, that's the script I was writing this afternoon done for. The Welsh Yiddish thing, it's just a, if it's not the Titanic.
It's hot. But I was standing on a Welsh hillside by an open grave in a long, as you do, in a long skirt and a sort of scarf around my head and no makeup. And I thought to myself, in 28 years in this business, I've never had, and please don't get your violins out, I've never had a decent location. I'm always somewhere, no, it's true, you know. I've always been on a motorway somewhere with a breast pump or something. Horrible.
But curiously though, someone said to me, Maureen's coming on and she wants to talk about stamps.
Stamps, yeah.
Now, but for why?
Well, you know what they say, philately will get you nowhere. Anyway,
Do we actually have that Graham sound effect that goes, ta-ra? Because I think it needs that. Can we have that line
Dennis
again?
will do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Ta-ra!
Now we've got it available.
Yeah.
Do the philately line again.
Philately will get you nowhere. Yeah, well, the post office have issued 5 stamps, cartoons drawn by Gerald Scarfe of 5 of our favourite comedians. And it's Les Dawson, Eric Morecambe, Tommy Cooper, Joyce Grenfell, and Peter Cook. Yeah.
And you've got a big Grenfell connection.
I've got a Grenfell connection. So what happened was they said, would you write 150 words to go with these stamps?
Right.
So since I know about 12 billion words about Joyce Grenfell, this was tricky for me, but it was kind of like when you had to do a précis at school. So I did it. And then they said, would you write 150 words about all the others? So then I had to kind of look up about Les Dawson and Tommy Cooper and everybody else.
Although you must have known some of these people, did you? I'm just imagining showbiz is one big happy family. You used to hang out with Les and Eric and...
Used to be around at my house for brunch every second Michaelmas. Yeah. No, of course I did, but you know, I got interested.
You hadn't played them, you hadn't researched them.
No, I hadn't researched them. I read this fantastic book by Harry Thompson on Peter Cook, which is a wonderful read. And then, you know, I'd read Les Dawson's books because they're very, very funny and surreal and wild. And Eric, of course, I'd known and loved every Christmas. And you can make of that what you want.
Exactly.
And, you know, it was fun. It was a different thing to do, and I like doing different things. And the stamps are, of course, Gerald Scarfe is a genius.
Is a fine. And let's artists, let's have a look. I think we can, let's see, talk us through them.
Well, that's Tommy Cooper.
There he is.
Yeah, and it's lovely. It's wonderful. My favourite Tommy Cooper, which, you know, stop me if you've heard it, and I'm sure you have, was when he met the Queen at the Royal Variety Show, and he said to her, do you like football, Mum? She said, no, not a great deal. He said, well, can I have your tickets to the FA Cup?
I've got some others. Because it's quite good. Now you can do your favourite Eric Morecambe joke.
I can't do Eric Morecambe joke. I mean, it was just... Well, I think the thing is that what binds all these... You know, people have been saying, why didn't you have Benny Hill? Why didn't you have Tony Hancock? What binds these 5 together?
Yeah.
Who's shouting?
No, sorry. You're being heckled. They're going, why Les Dawson?
Yeah. Okay.
What does bind them together? Yeah,
well,
people did say, why no?
I think they're all very on the edge of danger, and I think comedy has got to be dangerous. Peter Cook particularly was, you just didn't know what he was going to do next. All of them had an element of surrealism about it. Even Les Dawson's kind of northern ferret-fancying cloth-capped man was, you know, the sort of the jokes about my dad used to breed ferrets till he found out they could do it for themselves. And it's wonderful. It was superb. That's Les. There you are. Yes.
There he is. But you're going to be associated with another form of communications. I'm not harking back to...
You are.
No, I'm not to anything. You're associated for a long... Are you worried now people will come to you in the street and lick you? I don't know, something.
It's the best suggestion I've had all year. I don't know, no. I mean, it'll be, you know, stamps. I mean, Joyce...
This is the end of your involvement. You're not doing television campaigns.
No, that's the end of my involvement, is writing 150 words and coming on here.
What's the next project?
I start next Monday at the National in Oklahoma. Yeah.
I'm going to miss the cup final.
I'm going to take the whole cast of Oklahoma. Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you very much. We've got our EastEnders letters, because we've got this campaign. We want to kill off Ruth. out of EastEnders. You know what I'm saying? Well, because she's so annoying.
This is an actor's livelihood we're talking
No,
about.
the character. We'll get her a job here or something. Oh, no, the Actors Union's going to be up against me now. Now, a big supporter of my current campaign. We've just got a big bag of letters. These are two of the recent ones. The past few weeks, I've been inviting you to write in, pledging your support, and also, most importantly, telling me just how you think the EastEnders scriptwriters should kill her off. The mailbag's been even bigger this week as Kill Off Ruth fever grips the nation. First up this week, I've got a letter here quite appropriately from an EastEnder in Walthamstow, and it says, what you should do to kill off Ruth is grab hold of her and say, keep still. Then about 7 small but wide dwarfs could sit on her to make her shout, Marek, Marek. But the dwarves will keep on bouncing on her till it hurts and take over the Queen Vic and call it the 7 Dwarfs. That's from Mr. James Payne. Capital suggestion, James. We have another one here which says, remake the Omen film when a lift crashes with a man in it and then the lift cable slices through the lift and the man cutting him in half. Except it would be Ruth who would be cut in half by the cable. Then you should throw the bits in the sea. Excellent. Keep them coming. And remember, the writer of the best letter will win a quite wonderful prize. You won't because you're a psychopath. But you're going to win one of these splendid Kill Off Ruth t-shirts, okay? And the Kill Off Ruth t-shirt, but also the lucky winner is going to get a 7 days bed and breakfast holiday for 2 in Turkey with SunQuest. You actually are. So just keep those suggestions coming because we're going to kill her off and then get you out of the country. The address to write to is the Jack Docherty Show, Whitehall Theatre, London. Good luck. My final guest tonight are no ordinary band. The Independent has described the lead singer as Sean Ryder meets Buster Bloodvessel, whilst Melody Maker thought them to be maniacs of the highest order. Crikey, let's hope so. Here with their new single, Nothing Personal, it's the Dust Junkys, everyone.
Don't ask about where I'm from, I'm just a roughneck honky living on the run. Don't ask about the shape I'm in, I was born a dust junkie to live in sin. Live in sin. I don't got a chance like a Shirley. Don't pose a bunker cause I'm too damn ugly for that trip in the cat pants I'm wearing. Yeah. I get your bucks so step off or get licks. Give me the beat and I'll strap the rack to fit. Don't waste my time with that abstract bull. So don't worry with how long you've been rapping, yo. You're just a puppy heading for a next slapping. So here's a tip for you, pal. You want your dump to smoke, then it's got to be ice out. Come on! Yeah! Yeah, yeah! It's nothing personal! Come on! It's just the way it is! Yo! Come on! Yeah! Yeah, yeah! It's nothing personal! Come on! Yeah! You ask me why I grab my nuts, well, that's where my groove is. You need the balls if you want to make the money. I ain't it with the critics. Those such puppy freaks are simply ain't down with it. So suck up this, you long streak of cabbage. You might have heard the rhyme, but your mind could have managed. I get your boy, so I wanna be a rapper. Jump back inside, what's that? Whippersnapper, hoping I'll be stuck a smoking crack. Now they on that song, cause this junkie's on a comeback. There's nothing personal, me pissing on it picnic. But if they don't like it, you can stick it. Yo, come on. Yeah. It's nothing personal. Come on. Yeah, it's just the way it is. Come on. Yeah. It's nothing personal. Come on. Yeah, it's just the way it is. 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 Don't ask me to apologize if I got your back up. Your mistake of me with someone who gives a fuck. You don't think I gotta kiss my ass? I ain't a whacked out puppy with a overrated ass. I go beg over to be trending. Those kind of reasons don't justify the ancient. I won't be made up to track the bill for the making the package cause I ain't your damn schools. I'm just a hooligan on the hippie tip and shit. When I flip, I shoot from the hip. Send every this a little slide. Straight up and down if you think you gotta know. Yo, come on, yeah. It's nothing personal. Come on, yo, it's just the way it is. keep it personal. Come on, yeah, it's just the way it is. 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 Yeah.
Dust Junkys, everyone. Thanks to them. We had a fine guest tonight. Maureen Lipman and Dennis Wise, replacement the brilliant Clive Mantle. Join me tomorrow night when I'll be joined by Steve Pinder, who plays Max Farnham from Brookside, and Des Coleman, who plays Lenny from EastEnders. Plus, we've got music from Space Monkeys. Until then, if you're watching Dennis, I hope it's nothing trivial. Good night. Salute.
Top Cat, the most effectual Top Cat, whose intellectual close friends get to call him TC, providing exquisite Top Cat.
After complaints regarding last Tuesday's Jack Docherty show, Channel 5's head of swearing would like to issue the following statement. During the interview with Sir Harry Seacombe, Mr Docherty was wrong to refer to the Bishop of Fife and Bidley as that little tosser. He recognised that this was not an acceptable way of addressing a senior churchman. The correct form of reference is, of course, that sickening little shit who wanks cats with a pencil. I apologise for any offence which may have been caused.